What's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. As you can see, I am still on vacation. It's a lovely sunny day now, but a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about. So in just a second, we have bombshell news about how Trump potentially stole a bunch of the money that was supposed to go to the America 250 celebration. Outright stole it using wire fraud. Wild stuff. So we'll get into that in just a second. I also have for you, CNN is very clearly in an all-out panic over the fact that Democratic Socialists are winning all across this country. Also later on, an amazing couple of polls that shows how America is low-key kind of fucked, bro. We're low-key kind of fucked to the point where now people are curious about political violence and how maybe that'll help solve our problems since nothing else happens to fucking solve our problems. And then also, Zohran triggers a nuclear meltdown from the right by being based as shit. Just classic Zohran stuff. Can't help but tell the truth, and Republicans can't help but absolutely despise him for it. So we have all that and more. You guys know the drill, man. Everybody subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. You can also support the show on Patreon. Remember, y'all, real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser or done an ad read. Thank you for all the support you give. We cannot do it without you. You can also sign up for Crystal Kylan Friends on Substack. There is no Crystal Kylan Friends episode this week, but sign up on Substack below, and we have awesome stuff coming in the near future. And of course, go sub to Corin's World and come hang out with us over there live on Monday nights. Like I said, this week there was no Corin's World because I'm on vacation and there's no quiet place to do the podcast at night. But then also, I think next week he's on vacation. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, but hang in there and we'll be back shortly. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So take a look at this. The GOPL's account tweets, bombshell, expose alleges that Trump allies stole funds from the America 250 nonprofit and funneled them to a Trump-backed LLC. Congress created a bipartisan commission in 2016 to organize America's 250th birthday. It was called America 250. It had funding, corporate sponsors, and a decade of planning behind it. Then Donald Trump got involved, and according to a new report from House Democrats, what followed was a scheme to hijack the celebration, siphon the money, and hand it all to a Trump-controlled operation that reportedly defrauded donors in the process. The report is titled From Vanity to Insanity: How the White House Cheated the American People Out of Their 250th Birthday. What they built to replace it. When the Trump administration faced pushback from America 250 over its demand to control the celebration, it created a rival organization. Freedom 250 was incorporated as an LLC in October 2025 under the National Park Foundation, the nonprofit arm of the National Park Service, whose board now includes a number of Trump loyalists, including Chris LaCivita, senior advisor on Trump's 2024 campaign. Freedom 250's sole employee appears to be CEO Keith Kratch, a wealthy Trump supporter who served in the State Department during Trump's first term. The White House lodged this shadow organization inside the National Park Foundation so it could exploit the credibility and donor relationships of a beloved public charity while operating outside the transparency rules Congress wrote into law for the commission. In other words, they built a fake version of the real thing, gave it a similar name, put it inside a trusted institution, and used it to collect money they were never supposed to collect. Oh my days. This is insane, bro. The creativity that we witness when looking at the Trump family corruption is second to none. The creativity that we see is like through the roof. If they would just put this amount of intellectual horsepower into anything legitimate, they might actually do some decent things for the world. But of course, they're criminals. This is a mafia. This isn't a government. And as a direct result of that, all of this stuff is geared towards robbing you blind and making the country a worse place. So they say the alleged wire fraud. This is where it becomes a potential federal crime. According to sources interviewed by committee Democrats, donors who intended to donate to America 250 were instead given wire instructions with Freedom 250's banking information, including its routing number and account number, so the contributions would instead flow to Freedom 250. A gift solicited in the name of the nation's nonpartisan birthday commission could thus be redirected without the donor's knowledge by an entity created to serve the president's priorities. Holy fucking shit, y'all. So they were telling donors, you're giving for the 250th birthday of America to this official organization. Then they would give the wrong banking information and they would give the money to Freedom 250, which is controlled by Donald Trump and his cronies. When I told you they were skimming off the top, I thought it was a typical mob deal of like 10%, 15%. It might be a hell of a lot worse than that, bro. It might be a hell of a lot worse than that. The allegation of potential criminal wrongdoing stems from fundraising by Meredith O'Rourke, who served as the national finance director for Trump's 2024 presidential campaign and as a board member for the parent company of his Truth Social platform. Democrats say they have interviewed donors who were misled by fundraisers, including O'Rourke, into believing they were contributing to America 250, but they were given wire transfer instructions that routed their money to a bank account controlled by Freedom 250. Quote, "I'm a lawyer, and I know better than to pronounce that a crime has been committed," said Jared Huffman, the ranking Democrat on the House Natural Resources Committee. "But I do know the elements of fraud, and there's evidence of all those elements here." Holy shit. They also pressured corporate sponsors. The alleged fraud was not limited to individual donors. After the creation of Freedom 250, the report alleges corporate donors were pressured to withdraw fundraising commitments to America 250 and shift their financial backing to the new Trump-backed entity. Freedom 250 conducted aggressive outreach to America 250's corporate sponsors, calling them and asking them to contribute millions of dollars to Freedom 250 instead. Some corporate executives were unaware of the difference between the two organizations. Certain prospective donors and sponsors who wanted to contribute to America 250 were told by the Trump administration that they did not have a green light to do so. The White House was telling donors they were not allowed to give money to the bipartisan commission Congress created and then routing the money to Trump's version instead. Guys, they are so high on their own supply. They are so out over their skis. They are truly opening themselves up to serious, serious litigation. And I'm not just talking about the president here, who's also opened up to that same shit. I'm also talking about all of the cronies, all of the insiders, everybody who was involved with every single element of this. I mean, this is out of this world, man. The way that they dupe people, rob people, and now everything makes sense, right? When you look at the event and you look at, little cardboard box cutouts, no air conditioning, the ice cream melting because the power went out, one sad Ferris wheel, a whole bunch of booths set up with no representative for different states there, Confederate flags flying, 17 people there. When you look at all of it put together, you go, oh, now it makes sense. They weren't even trying to do a real fair. It was like, give them the bare minimum. It was literally like the Fire Festival, or like that the Willy Wonka thing that was a con and a scam, and people showed up and were like, what the fuck is this? This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. That's what this is. Caught red-handed. Again, if this was any other president, if this was any other administration, it would be over. They would impeach them by the end of the day. But since it's Trump, he gets away with everything because he commits so many crimes and does so many insane things on a regular basis, you literally just can't keep up. But now we're talking about wire fraud. I mean, what have they not done? They've done everything. They've committed genocidal war crimes. They've bombed schools and hospitals and shit. And now they're stealing from this country's 250th birthday and shaking down donors and corporations and duping them and stealing the money and running out the back door with all of it. What the fuck, man? This criminal family. And then Trump has the nerve to go out on TV and say, oh, I don't take a salary, so I'm actually the best president. I've done nothing but deliver for this country. I don't even take a salary. You've made billions off the White House, you fucking freak. Billions. Jesus Christ. It is like they're at the point now where they're like cartoon villains, man. This is cartoon villain type shit.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Trump is absolutely crashing out on social media over on Lie Social, and he posted the other day this video of himself as a doctor trying to cure celebrities that have Trump derangement syndrome. Now, by the way, let me just point out, last time he said, I thought I was a doctor, he was actually trying to defend himself from allegations that he posted himself as Jesus Christ on social media, as God. And he did. I mean, there's really no question about it. Every reasonable person looked at it and said, oh my God, he thinks he's Jesus. He's acting like God. And he was like, I thought I was a doctor. Well, now he actually is a doctor, not posting himself as God. Listen to what he says. Here we go.
You or someone you know been diagnosed with TDS? The symptoms can be relentless. Fortunately, I'm Dr. Trump, and I have a treatment plan. Let's hear what some of my patients have to say.
I have been suffering for over a decade, and after listening to Dr. Trump, I can see some results.
Man, I've been suffering for years. I really didn't believe that was help out there.
I love how, first of all, Rosie O'Donnell doesn't even live in the country anymore. Okay, she got the fuck out of here because she knew that Trump was a psychopath and would probably try to, sick the Department of Justice or the FBI on her. And by the way, how vindicated is she? Because we see them going after E. Jean Carroll, Don Lemon, James Comey, all of Trump's political opponents. So she was correct probably to flee this fucking country. But She's minding her goddamn business over there in Ireland, I believe. And Trump's still going after her over a beef from what, 1997 or some shit? Who's this guy? Is this John Leguizamo? Like, I haven't even seen this guy in anything on TV in roughly a fucking decade and a half. And Trump's going after him. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. He's doing this as gas prices skyrocket and inflation skyrockets and unemployment skyrockets. And we have multiple wars going on, illegal wars that he fucking started. And there's violations of the Iranian fake ceasefire. Israel's still in Lebanon, even though he said Israel would have to get out of Lebanon. We have all these fucking problems all across this country. We're getting to the bottom of the strategic petroleum reserves, and gas is going to skyrocket even more. And this motherfucker's tweeting about Trump derangement syndrome, posting AI slop of himself as a doctor.
That was when I came across this video on TV.
I really thought I was a lost cause. This was going to affect me for the rest of my life. But after using the treatment plan, I can see a difference.
I really wasn't sure I could help some of these people. They were so far gone, I wasn't really sure.
I had no idea how much this was affecting
Ed Norton? I didn't even know he was political at all. Did you guys? I had no idea. What the fuck are we doing here?
my life. My work is slowed down. I'm hardly recognizable anymore. I just needed help.
I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Constantly angry. I made everyone miserable around me.
I feel like I've aged 20 years in the last 2 years. I've been so concerned. I was really starting to worry about my future.
Again, this is Julia Roberts, right? Does she talk about politics? I haven't seen her talk much about politics.
The treatment is simple. Turn off. Fake news. Say your prayers, and if you ever feel anxious, just have a Diet Coke like me, and you're going to see a remarkable difference in your life.
What is there to even say? Here's the reality that nobody will tell you. Trump derangement syndrome was always just being sane. Trump derangement syndrome was always the common sense duh position. The people who had Trump derangement syndrome from day number one have been the most vindicated of anybody in this country. I look back to the early days. I was always against Trump, but I look back to the early days when I thought some people went too far. And now I think, no, they were right and I was wrong. You cannot be hyperbolic enough about this man. This man is the devil. This man is a literal demon. This man has done everything in his power to destroy this country. The crimes he commits, I can't even wrap my mind around the criminality of this man. I can't even wrap my mind around the genocidal atrocities committed by this man and his buddy Netanyahu. I mean, when you actually take a look at the scope of the damage he's done to this country and the world in his time in power, it is off the fucking charts. He's selfish, he's narcissistic, he's self-dealing, he's, vicious. Every negative thing you can think of, everything you were told to be as a kid, he's the opposite of that, of all of those things. And here he is fucking doing this whole like, oh, look at these irrational celebrities who have Trump derangement syndrome. They were right all along. And by the way, motherfucker, you have a 34% approval rating and you're acting like, they're so crazy. Well, apparently the country agrees with them and they don't agree with you, bitch. How about that? Just incredible. But he's not done because he can't help himself. He's on a posting spree. What we've seen with Trump is he cannot sleep at night when he's supposed to sleep, and he cannot stay awake during the day in his meetings when he's supposed to be awake. The part of his brain that regulates circadian rhythm is breaking down. His dementia is getting out of control. His cognitive failure is getting out of control. His Alzheimer's is getting out of control. And as a direct result of that, we see a lot of strange things. We see a lot of bizarre things. We see a lot of his inability to control his temper or his impulses, right? How many times has he blurted out in meetings now about how hot some foreign diplomat is, or hot some foreign leader? He was flirting with Al-Sisi before. Every time he mentions Zohran, he can't help but talk about how handsome he is. Talking about touching an Olympian's leg. I want to grab your leg. Let me grab your leg. I didn't grab his leg. I should have grabbed his leg. Like, it's all coming out. It's all coming out because he's not there anymore. And so, like I said, he's gone from low filter to no filter, so he posts psycho shit like this. Now, he also is posting shit like this. Restraining order needed, and it shows Giorgia Meloni, the president of Italy. And guys, I don't know if you know this, Giorgia Meloni had to come out and say, this motherfucker's lying, because Trump said, oh, Meloni wanted a picture with me. And Meloni came out and said, I didn't ask for a fucking picture with you. Why are you lying? This is egregious. And he's like, oh, I guess I need a restraining order to keep you away. And he's posting shit like this. He sparked a crisis between us and Italy simply because he's a douchebag who lies about shit. And so now he posts this and tries to make it look like, oh, she really wants me. He's like the kid in class who lies about like, oh, this girl really wants me. The fuck she does. How about she fucking hates you? Shout out to Hillary Clinton, of course, because Hillary Clinton gave Trump what he views as a massive win when he posted, Hillary Clinton breaks with Democratic critics by backing Trump's Gaza plan as the only game in town. In other words, Hillary came out and said, yeah, Jared Kushner's whole plan, Steve Witkoff's whole plan to rob people blind, steal the money, kick out all the Palestinians from Gaza and build a futuristic tech city there. I backed that plan because it's the only game in town. Thank you, Hillary, for gifting Trump this massive win from his perspective, that one of his number one opponents is actually giving him credit for one of his fucking massive war crimes, for his genocidal ethnic cleansing plot. All right, he also posted this. Stealing toothbrushes, Biden's solution versus Trump's solution. Biden's solution was apparently locking up the toothpaste, and Trump's solution is locking people behind bars. Well, here's the problem with that, Don. You are a criminal in the midst of the biggest crime spree we've ever seen in our lives. You are pardoning fraudster after fraudster after fraudster, multi-million-dollar fraudsters, white-collar fraudsters. You keep pardoning them because you have the pay-to-play corruption scheme going on where they give you money and you'll pardon whoever the fuck they want, okay? You've arrested 0 Epstein pedophile criminals. 0. You are an Epstein pedophile criminal, but you've arrested 0 Epstein pedophile criminals as well. And never mind your own crime spree where you're stealing money left and right, okay? So in every imaginable way, you're in the midst of a crime spree, but somehow it's, the Democrats are the ones who suck on crime and we're great on crime. How about you just stop committing crimes? Let's start there. Let's start with you no longer bombing innocent Iranian schoolgirls. You should be locked up forever for that alone, never mind the 17,000 other things. But please fucking spare me, Jesus Christ. This is the sort of shit. So if you're an Epstein rapist, you're free to go. But if you stole a toothbrush, he's going to lock you up and throw away the key. Too fucking perfect, man. Too fucking perfect. He also posted this. He's been on a posting spree about his design choices because that's the only shit he actually fucking cares about. And here you can see the most tacky shit I've ever seen in my life. By the way, matches perfectly with the fucking, Nazi German design. This is something you could have seen in Nazi Germany or very similar to something you would have seen in Nazi Germany, his gold obsession. And he posts this as if like, wouldn't this look awesome if I put a giant gold thing on the White House? No, you are tacky as a motherfucker. You are gaudy as a motherfucker. You have the worst taste of anybody I've ever seen in human history. You act like a fucking fourth world dictator who gets into power and is so ostentatious and over the top with it that your population despises you and you have no clue about it, but you plow ahead anyway in a bullheaded fashion. That's what every single design choice from Donald Trump is. Yet again, man, every day we come out here, it's another day where he crashes out on social media. He's totally unhinged. He sparks international crises with this stuff. QAnon posts on a regular basis. And of course, the crazy thing is, under QAnon, he's supposed to arrest the Epstein pedophiles. And he's not, he's protecting them. He is an Epstein pedophile. How can you QAnon post when in reality you're doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do under QAnon, which is be the hero and arrest the pedophiles? You're not, you're protecting them. So there we are, man. There we are. This man is an absolute menace. This man is an absolute joke. This man is cognitively breaking down. And as I said, he's up all hours of the fucking night posting Lord knows what. And during the day, he can't help but fall asleep in every single fucking meeting.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all. So CNN is absolutely panicking and crashing out over the rise of DSA candidates that are winning everywhere, Zohran endorsed candidates that are winning everywhere, left-wingers who actually stand for something who are winning everywhere in Democratic primaries. So they brought on one of the more centrist, right-leaning, and Zionist Democrats in the country here. Of course, I'm talking about Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. And listen to this loaded-ass, leading-ass question that Dana Bash asks Josh Shapiro, and then watch him squirm in the chair knowing that he can't be crosswise with the Democratic base and have a chance in 2028. So he's walking on fucking eggshells trying to soft-pedal his disagreements with DSA candidates as Dana Bash is trying to fucking throw them under the bus and smear them to the high heavens. Here we go.
Daria Lisa Avila Chevalier, she was a PhD candidate at Columbia and organizer. She called for the abolition of prisons, open borders, ended deportations, even people convicted of violent crimes.
Now, let me pause here to point out, did she call for these things? Yes. Is she to the left of me? Yes. Did she run on these things? Not remotely. What she ran on was Medicare for all. What she ran on was ending our support for the Zionist terrorist regime that's killing kids on a regular basis. Okay? What she ran on was raising taxes on the wealthy. What she ran on was a higher minimum wage to make it a living wage. So she ran on objectively popular positions and repeated them 1,000 times over. They ignored all of the things she actually ran on to say, oh, here are the things that sound the worst that she believes in. So let me bring those up. Oh, isn't she crazy? Isn't she extreme? Isn't she out there? This is who these people are. Notice what Dana Bash is doing there. It's a fucking smear tactic is what it is. It's a smear tactic. Dana Bash and the opponents of the DSA and the Republicans are going to bring up the things that she didn't run on way more than anything she ran on. That's what they're going to try to do. Because if they tried to attack her on a living wage, if they tried to attack her on Medicare for all, if they tried to attack her on cutting off funding for Israel, they would expose themselves as they're the extremists. They're the extremists. Not Daria Lisa, they're the extremists. But notice what Dana Bash is trying to do here. Here we go. And watch Josh Shapiro squirm.
Ended deportations, even people convicted of violent crimes. She attended a pro-Palestinian rally on October 8th, 2023, a rally that reportedly featured some real anti-Semitic rhetoric justifying the attack.
What is Dana Bash not telling you? She appeared at a rally on October 8th, and it was after Israel had already hit over 400 targets in Gaza. She knew, and everybody with a brain knew very quickly, oh my God, they're about to level all of Gaza and kill everybody in sight. So in other words, she's being punished for being correct too early. That's what this is. She was correct too early. She knew what Israel was going to do. She knew they already bombed 400 targets. She was out there protesting, and what do? Lie and say, oh, she was there for the anti-Semitic rhetoric. Fuck you, Dana Bash. What a fucking lying scumbag. Is this fair and balanced? Is that what this is? Is this giving both sides? No, this is you fucking smearing this DSA winner.
Anti-Semitic rhetoric justifying the attack. How do you feel as a Democrat about someone with those views being in the United States Congress?
Look, her district voted for her. But I have profound differences from that particular candidate, based on the citations that you read there. And she's not someone, who seemingly I would agree with on many things or that we share similar values.
That's a problem, Josh, isn't it? If you don't agree with her on many things, well, she's a Democrat. And the things she ran on are actually tremendously popular. And she is representing the will of her voters. You're a Democrat, but you're not actually representing the will of your voters, are you? When you support Israel, even though they're endlessly bombing innocent people and stealing land more and more. So that's a bit of a problem. That, her and I don't see eye to eye. Well, maybe you should.
She ran on the Democratic ticket, I guess, as a socialist. Her voters in that district determined that she was the one they wanted representing her.
But what does that tell you about your party?
I think.
See how desperate she is? Oh my God. She's crashing out so hard. She's trying to smear them so hard. What does that tell you about your party? Say they're extreme. Say they're violent. Say they're radical. Say they're terrible. Say that they can't win. Just say bad things, please. Say bad things. Fuck you, Dana Bash. Somebody go check her bank account and how much money she's getting from the fucking Israel lobby.
What our party has to go through that will be very healthy and something we've not really done since the 1992 election cycle is to have a battle over what we believe in.
No, actually, we've had that battle a number of times. And now the left is winning that battle. And you guys are going to whine and cry and bitch and moan and crash out and smear us because we're going to win now. We had that battle. In 2016, we had that battle, Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton. You guys needed to not play fair in order to win that battle. We had the battle in 2020. Yet again, you needed all the king's horses and all the king's men to get together and drop out of the race at the same time and endorse Biden to get his sorry ass across the finish line in order to defeat Bernie Sanders in the primary. Now there's no holding us back. Now we have Zohran. Now we have Abdul El Sayed. Now we have all these left-wing candidates, these DSA candidates in New York City and Colorado, Malak heroes that are winning everywhere. And now you don't know what to do. Now you don't know what to do. So they're going to do this. Oh, it's healthy for us to have this. No, what's healthy is for all of you to fall the fucking line behind the actual leaders of the party, the DSA. That's what's healthy. What's healthy is for all you to say, you know what? Yes, it's Medicare for all. That's what we need. We need Medicare for all. We need free college. We need a living wage. We need to end the wars. We need to tax the rich. We need universal child care. We need all these things. That's what we need. We need to stop funding Israel, stop arming Israel as they blow up innocent people. We need to stop the illegal war against Iran and send them a fucking apology. That's what we need to do. So all of you need to line up behind the DSA candidates instead of whatever the fuck this is. And by the way, Dana Bash there is the worst. Josh Shapiro is smarter than Dana Bash, and Josh Shapiro knows I can't be crosswise with the base, so I got to tread carefully here. Dana Bash is a fucking total Zionist hack on CNN, total corporate hack. And so she's like, say they're bad, say they're evil, say they're dumb, because I picked out the policy positions that they're not even going to implement, which people disagree with the most. Fuck you. Fuck you. Jesus Christ, man. Expect a lot more of this because they have nowhere else to go with it, so they're going to go dirty.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Ben Shapiro appears to be panicking and crashing out over the fact that Donald Trump's popularity is cratering. It looks like MAGA's in trouble. It looks like it might not be the case that he can continue his beloved endless wars in perpetuity. And so he said the following. Let's listen.
If they were to gain control of the Senate, they would move to impeach President Trump. There's an outside shot. They could even get a conviction in a Senate split between a Democratic majority and maybe some rogue Democratic senators. They, of course, will stymie any effort to refund our military.
Yeah, you should be concerned about us not funding the military. Are you kidding me? I wish. I fucking wish. I wish we lived in this world that Ben Shapiro seems to think we actually live in. We don't live in that world. Donald Trump is calling for a $1.5 trillion military budget. By the way, we don't even know where 63% of that money goes because they failed 8 audits in a row. But the Democrats counter that with like, how about just $900 billion or something like that? Are you fucking kidding me? This is sick, bro. And this is why there's even many America First Republicans who hate Ben Shapiro. Because they look at this guy and they go, really, Ben? How many wars can you fight? How many wars do you want? Okay, how much money do you want to give to Israel? How much money do you want to give to the military-industrial complex so Raytheon can build a plane that doesn't fucking fly properly? Wasted over $1 trillion on a plane that got crashed instantly. Okay, what are we doing here? Oh, the Democrats are going to impeach Donald Trump. Well, I fucking hope so. The issue with impeaching Donald Trump is not whether or not you should impeach him. The issue is, which crime do you pick to go after him over? Because there's been roughly 78 crimes that are all impeachment worthy. Whether it's the emoluments clause or war powers or whatever. I mean, he's committed so many crimes, so many high crimes and misdemeanors. I can't fucking keep up. Nobody can keep up. My job is to follow this shit. And I get overwhelmed by the number of crimes committed on a daily basis. And here he is whining and crying and bitching him. Oh, they might impeach him. I fucking hope they do. I hope he gets impeached, or they use the 25th Amendment, they kick his ass out of power, and they lock him and his entire criminal family up as they strip his name off every fucking building in this country. Every building in this country. Okay? No more of this bullshit anymore. We're not putting up with this shit anymore. So I hope the Democrats win, and I hope that your fucking military gets underfunded, and we take that money, because you know what? They should have never gotten this much money to begin with, but we take that money and we give people health care, we give people education, and things of that nature. Actually go towards programs that'll improve regular people's lives. Not fucking to make it so that the Honeywell or Raytheon executive gets another fucking yacht that has a yacht inside the yacht. Okay? He's not done, though. He continues.
To restock THAADs, Patriot missiles, to build the new kind of military we need to actually challenge our enemies in the world. And again, there is, as I say, the possibility that President Trump gets impeached in the House and then even convicted in the Senate. That's all what happens if the Democrats win the Senate. So there's like very, very serious stuff. And that sets it up for 2028. Because if Democrats control the Senate in 26 and the House in 26, then they are one step away from having a trifecta.
I wish I had as much trust in the Democrats as Ben does. I wish everything he was saying was true, but I see a Democratic Party that's becoming better, but still, unfortunately, a little too weak, right? But the fact of the matter is, Ben, your guy has a 34% approval rating. One poll even had him at a fucking 30% approval rating. Okay, this is a reckoning, bitch. It's time. It's time. It's time for you to go down. It's time for your movement to realize that you've been exposed. You've been outed as a criminal fraud scheme, as a bunch of self-dealing con men. Like, that's what it is. Like, I know that in Ben Shapiro's ideal world, his government only does endless wars and funds Israel to the hilt. I know that that's his perception of an ideal society, but the fact of the matter is, Americans don't agree. Americans don't agree. They want healthcare, they want education, they want higher taxes on the rich. They want to take that money and give people a decent chance at a decent life. They want universal child care, for example, things of that nature. So you're just so out of lockstep. But here he is, man. This is Ben Shapiro. And without a doubt, this is Ben Shapiro completely freaking out as MAGA is crashing and burning right in front of his eyes, and he realizes there's nothing he could do to stop that. And one of the reasons is he has no motion anymore. This man is fucking sauceless, bro. This man is rizless. He is cooked. He is barbecued. Daily Wire is so washed, now Ben Shapiro has to buy ad time and post his whole show as a pre-roll ad, hoping that just counts as a view. So you'll see the videos on his YouTube channel be like 23,000, 34,000. Then he'll have like a 600,000 banger. And what you realize is, oh no, that's the one that he bought to run as a pre-roll ad, so he's getting like cheap views on that. It wasn't actually 600,000 people that watched it. They are so cooked they have to buy relevance. They're buying relevance because the right-wing base has moved on. They're listening to Candace Owens. They're listening to Nick Fuentes. They're listening to Asmongold lay there in his stench with cockroaches crawling across him. What does it say that they'd rather listen to a guy with like an 84 IQ with cockroaches crawling on him giggle and say based at everything Trump does? What does that say, Ben, that they're so over your fake intellectual routine? I'm Ben Shapiro. I'm Ivy League educated. I'm an intellectual. Give all the money to Israel. Let's have Netanyahu shoot multiple babies in the face today. I'm Ben Shapiro. I'm going to talk fast and maybe you'll think I'm smart because I'm doing that. Let's have a $7 trillion military budget. And fuck your wages. I hope you don't have health care. I hope you lose all your health care. Who's this appeal to? Fucking nobody, Ben. Nobody. And now you're falling into irrelevance. But right along with you comes that fat, pedophile, rapist president that you pretend to love. The only reason you even like the guy is because he's a cuck to Israel and he's blackmailed by Epstein and they have video of him fucking 13-year-olds like Katie Johnson, okay? And that's the only reason you like him is because he's blackmailed by your beloved Israel and he'll do whatever the fuck they want. That's it. Outside of that, you hate him, and you know you hate him because when he ran in 2015 and there was multiple candidates to pick from, you were all on Ted Cruz's dick and not on Donald Trump's dick. So, but now you can enjoy it. Go ahead and continue to crash out as MAGA crashes and burns.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So there's this term that I coined a while back, TFG. And TFG is short for too far gone. And I always maintain that there's a significant chunk of the Republican base that's TFG. They're too far gones. And they can't help but come out there and prove it day after day. I mean, even after everything Trump has done, he still has an approval rating of about 34%. In one poll, it was as low as 30%. But that means that 3 out of 10 Americans that you see are mentally the equivalent of toddlers. Okay, these are not serious people. It's a miracle they can stay alive and tie their shoes and use the bathroom and go to work. I mean, it is a minor miracle these people don't walk into traffic on a daily basis and get mowed the fuck down. Okay, so here's a great example. At Trump's fucking disgusting fair, his scam fair that he put on, one of the Trump supporters was talking to somebody here, and he gives us a little bit about what he thinks should happen in this country. Here we go.
We should take all the Democrats and have a Nuremberg-style trial and try them for treason and crimes against humanity, and then punish the convicted ones, just like the Nazis at Spandau Prison.
Okay. He's not kidding, by the way. This guy, I need you to understand, I've seen other videos of this guy. He's not kidding. At the same time, his pedophile rapist president is carpet bombing little Iranian girls to death and bombing Iranian power plants and bridges and roads, and arming and funding Netanyahu as he shoots children in the face and starves an entire population in Gaza, as they are committing the Nazi-like crimes. He says, round up all the Democrats and try them for Nazi-like crimes. There is no reasoning with this. I just need you to understand that. You cannot reason with this. You cannot work with this. You cannot compromise or negotiate with this. All you can do is fucking defeat this. All you can do is defeat this. Understand that. Here we go. Let's keep going.
Well, the leaders and the rest of them, life in prison.
I believe you're sincere in this.
Yes.
I'm not sure the people back home will think you're sincere. Can you just look down the lens here?
I am sincere, because you can't work with the Democrats. You can't work with them. If they take the House or Congress, they will just impeach him again.
Okay, well, first of all, that'd be the correct thing to do because he does a million impeachable things on a daily basis. But I love the irony of saying you can't work with Democrats, as he just argued, hang all of the Democratic leaders and kill them and arrest all the other Democrats in the country. Enslave over 50% of the population, right? That's what he's arguing for. Then he goes, these people are crazy. You can't work with them. I don't know, man. It kind of looks like we can't work with you. It kind of looks like you're the problem. You're the one with serious issues.
The Democrats are, but if they gain power, they are determined to shred our Constitution. and they keep calling him a king. If you're going to
You have got to be kidding me. The Emoluments Clause of the Constitution says very clearly that the president cannot make money from foreign governments. Donald Trump has repeatedly made money from foreign governments, even going back to his first term, but now in his second term, he's completely and utterly unhinged. I mean, he's got deals with the country of Oman and the country of Vietnam and Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Took a $400 million jet from Qatar. Okay? He's taken money in a million different ways, including with his bullshit watches that are $100,000 a pop. It's a massive money laundering scheme. It's a way for foreign billionaires and governments to give him money to get favors. Everybody knows this. So he's violating the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution on a daily fucking basis. They literally made it so immigrants don't have due process rights anymore, which means none of us have due process rights anymore, which means he's shitting on the Constitution relentlessly. They don't even need warrants. They were rounding up immigrants with no warrants, even though that's wildly illegal. A million courts said you can't do that. They kept doing that. Oh my God, bro. I'm having a conniption. I'm having an aneurysm live on air right now, dog. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. Oh my God, bro. You've got to be kidding me. Donald Trump, he's saying Democrats are going to get rid of our Constitution when literally nobody in our history has done more to destroy our Constitution than Donald J. Trump. I mean, you could close your eyes, throw a dart at a Constitution hanging on the wall, and it'll hit a provision, and Donald Trump has violated that provision. I mean, look at what he's done just to free speech, y'all. This man deported people because they made jokes about Charlie Kirk. He threatened a RICO case against protesters who accused him of being a war criminal because he is a war criminal. He sued Ann Selzer for releasing a poll that he didn't like. He sued CBS for editing a Kamala Harris interview. He sued the New York Times for $15 billion for reporting the truth about his candidacy. He sued a book company for a quote he didn't like. I can go on and on here. God forbid you're pro-Palestinian and anti-genocide and you protest. They will fucking deport your ass and try to ruin your life over that shit. And this motherfucker has the nerve to say the Democrats don't care about the Constitution. The worst Democratic president on his worst motherfucking day respects the Constitution more than Donald J. Trump. What planet? What planet does this man live on? Oh my days, bro. It's still, we haven't even gotten to the worst part. We haven't even gotten to the worst part. Okay, you ready? Prepare yourself.
impeach him again. The Democrats if they gain power, they are determined to shred our Constitution. And they keep calling him a king. If you're going to keep calling him a king, then he should say, all right, I'm a king. I'm a king. Yes, King Trump. King Trump, not even King Donald, King Trump the first. And then his children will be princes and princesses. I hope the last thing I see before I die on my deathbed is Baron Trump being elected.
Could you imagine being so immensely cucked to a pedophile, rapist, war criminal, con man, terrorist that you fantasize about his fucking on the spectrum son who's never said a word publicly? You fantasize about him becoming king? You know nothing about his politics. You know nothing about his ideology. You know nothing about his character. He hasn't said fucking anything at any point when it comes to politics, period. And you're out there like, this man should be king because he's the son of the fat pedophile, rapist, war criminal that I love. I cannot imagine. It is impossible to be a bigger cuck than this man is. He would gladly sit in the corner in the cuck chair and jerk his little meat as Donald Trump fucked his disgusting wife. That's what this man would do. Oh my God, I can't stand these people. If you are still making apologies for this movement, you are the enemy. You are part of the problem. Let me be as clear as possible when I say that. There is no more middle ground. There is no more nuance in this conversation. You are the fucking enemy if you listen to people like this and you go, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. He wants Barron to be king because he loves the fat pedophile rapist war criminal so much that his son, who's never said a word, should run the most powerful country on earth.
And then his children will be princes and princesses. I hope the last thing I see before I die on my deathbed is Baron Trump being elected. King Trump maybe the third or the fourth. We're in the middle of the Third World War. We're in the middle of the Third World War.
With who?
With
the Democrats?
The Democrats are the enemy. Yeah, they are. The Democrats are no, they're not in charge. It's the one world order globalists. This is across the world.
I mean, it looks to me like he's just trying to copy Alex Jones' talking points from 2007. right? Like, that's what this looks like. I don't know, man. You tell me what we got to do with this, bro. But, you know, to say re-education camps seem rational is an understatement when you look at some of the shit these MAGA hogs are saying. I mean, it is, you know, I was naive enough to think this level of stupidity couldn't exist. That, like, nobody's this idiotic. But man, was I wrong. The spectrum of idiocy is so much deeper than I thought. And you got guys like this running around saying Barron Trump should be king because I love his fat pedophile, rapist, conman, terrorist dad. You got people like this saying Democrats are going to shred the Constitution as Trump is literally taking a diarrhea shit on it right in front of you. I don't know what we do with these people. But anything I would say that is serious right now would lead to me getting banned from YouTube, so I'm just going to go ahead and shut the fuck up.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So this country, y'all, is barbecued, boiled, broiled, deep fried, grilled, filleted, whatever you want to call it. Man, some of these poll numbers, dog, are just out of this world. Take a look at this one because I feel like this is a hidden crisis. It's a hidden crisis that nobody has dealt with yet, okay? So take a look at this. For a Marist poll, quote, Americans may have to resort to violence in order to get the country back on track. You ready? Among Gen Z, 60% agree that we might need violence to get this country back on track. 60%. Among millennials, 46%, nearly half of millennials agree. Yeah, son, we might actually need violence to get this country back on track. Gen X, it's 35% agree. Among boomers, 20% agree. But this is how you know we're fucked. The fabric of the country has fallen apart so thoroughly, and there is zero hope. There's zero faith. There's zero optimism for a better future. And so as a direct result of that, people are now thinking last resort type shit. Like, I don't know, yeah, maybe we burn some shit down. Maybe we riot. Maybe we attack the homes of politicians or judges. Maybe we let these motherfuckers know we mean business. Maybe we occupy Washington. But now young people are beginning to think that because they see no hope. They have no prospects for a better future. For the first time in our history, young people don't expect to do better than their parents. They expect to do the worse than their parents. And that's what's happening. They're up to their fucking eyeballs in debt. Inflation's out of control. Unemployment's out of control. Basically, 85% of this country to 90% are already living in a recession. There's a massive fucking AI bubble. They're saying AI is going to take your fucking job. The top 1% stole all the money. We have a gilded age income and wealth inequality. They're destroying the social safety net at the same time that your jobs get worse and worse and worse. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? Now, 60% of Gen Z, in a world that made sense, that was functioning with a government that was serious, they would take one look at this and go, we got serious work to do, bro. We need to address this. We need to do universal health care. We need to do free college. We need to do medical debt relief, student loan debt relief. We need higher wages. We need unions. We need free childcare and daycare. We need to raise taxes on the wealthy. We need to, like, fix the social safety net and give people better job opportunities, right? Like, we need to do something because these people feel like there's no stake in the country anymore. And they feel so hopeless that they're thinking, maybe violence. Only when the country is already broken can political violence look this appealing to people, right? This is not just, oh, Gen Z is just different or millennials are just different and their mindset is just worse. No, this is like they look around and go, we have nothing. There's no good prospects for the future. We don't have a fucking national identity or a belief anymore. And so, yeah, what the fuck? Last ditch effort, last resort, might as well do some violence, right? This is what people are thinking now. So, that should be a fucking wake-up call to the establishment, but somehow I doubt it will be. Somehow I doubt it will be. Just wild, wild stuff that we're talking about here. Americans may have to resort to violence, and 60% of Gen Z is agreeing. Nearly 50% of millennials are agreeing. And ladies and gentlemen, that did not come out of nowhere, okay? That did not come out of nowhere. That comes from a system perpetually putting up its middle finger to young people and saying there's no place for you here. Now, by the way, on a similar topic, look at this. Percentage who say they are extremely or very proud to be American. You ready? In 2001, 90% of Republicans said they were proud. 85% of Democrats said they were proud. That was probably taken, after 9/11, perhaps. It could have been before. But anyway, everybody's very proud to be an American, okay? Well, now what? Look at this. Republicans, 92% say they're proud to be American in 2026. Only 36% of Democrats say they're proud to be American. Look at this in chart form, okay? Democrats' pride swings with the president. Republicans doesn't. So Republicans say, I'm proud to be American, no matter who's in office, primarily because if there's a Democrat, they don't like the Democrat. They just accuse them of not being American. They just say, oh, Obama's president. Obama's a Kenyan Muslim Marxist. That's what he is. And so they go, we're the real Americans, and I love America, man. So they always have a rationalization to say like, oh, that's not us, and we're good. So yeah, we love America. Democrats, I would argue, are just more realistic. They're just more realistic. They just care about facts more. And so they look at this country, they look at the state of the world, and they go, what is there to be proud of right now? When I think of my government in the year 2026, the first thing that pops to mind is we just carpet bombed an Iranian little girls' school. That's what we did. We carpet bombed a little Iranian girls' school. We actually triple tapped it. So we did 3 rounds of strikes, knowing it was a little girls' school. That's the first thing I think of. What else do I think of? Us arming and funding Israel and watching them commit a genocide and then sending them more money and weapons. That's what I think of. What else do I think of? Trump's fucking self-dealing. That's what I think of. I think of Trump making money in 1,000 different ways, making $3 billion as president from all sorts of scams and schemes and self-dealing and insider trading and pay-to-play pardons and all that. That's what I think of. What is there to be motherfucking proud of? You tell me. What am I supposed to be proud of? The reflecting pool with algae in it? Is that what I'm supposed to be proud of? The fucking Trump Kennedy Center? The Epstein Memorial Ballroom? What am I supposed to be proud of? You tell me. I will genuinely sit here and wait. You tell me. What should I be proud of about the United States of America in the year 2026? I'll fucking wait. I would normally say something like the First Amendment, but Trump fucking destroyed that too. So what is there to be proud of? So when now 36% of Democrats say they're proud to be American, what they're doing is they're looking around and going, we got to fix this shit, bro. This is unacceptable. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue like this. The love cannot be unconditional for this country if it doesn't love us back. Do you understand that? That's the point. The love cannot be unconditional for this country if it doesn't love us back. And the fact of the matter is this. I've said this before on air, but imagine you're a parent and you find out that your kid is getting high and passing out behind a dumpster in the back of the Arby's, okay? The Republican approach to patriotism is to say, I love this country and it's okay that they do that and I support them passing out after doing heroin behind the Arby's dumpster in the back. That's the Republican approach. The Democrats look at that and they go, no. I love you and I want to help you, but I'm going to take you to rehab. We're going to get your life in order and you're going to clean yourself up and then we're going to be in a better spot. So like it's conditional, right? Like you need to do X, Y, and Z and take some responsibility and accountability and fix yourself. And I'll help you do that, but you need to do it. And Democrats have been trying to help this country fix itself, but this country has routinely said, fuck off. And it's been hijacked by a bunch of robber barons and Gilded Age gangsters and fucking billionaire Epstein class pedophiles. And what are we supposed to do about that if they're insistent on destroying this country and they have all the money, they have all the power, they control every branch of government? What are we supposed to do about that? Well, what ends up happening is only 36% of Democrats say, I love this country. That's what ends up happening. So if anything, I think this person said this should be embarrassing for the Democratic Party. Totally disagree. It's embarrassing for the Republican Party that it doesn't matter how much we get robbed by the plutocrats. It doesn't matter how much they spit in our eye. It doesn't matter how much they ruin everything positive about this country. I'm still going to support it no matter what. Well, okay, congrats on getting fucked in the ass with a spiky metal bat and taking it over and over and over again. Democrats are standing up and going, no, how about we actually fix this shit and make it a country worthy of being loved? How about that? Jesus Christ, man. So, yeah, wild stuff here. But things are out of whack, and I think that's clearer than ever.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all, I got to share this with you, but this is incredible. So we have a new effort to catalog and document all of the various war crimes committed by Israel. Because as you know, there's been this effort that's underway to try to purge the internet of all of the evidence of genocide committed by Israel. It's been an all systems go effort. The Zionist lobby is going at it hardcore. They want to erase all the videos of innocent people being bombed and kids being shot and starvation and all these atrocities. And so you've had to have good people come together to try to save all this stuff and document it. So history is very clear on what went down in Gaza. And we know that this was a new Holocaust. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This is actually super important. Here we go.
A digital archive documenting Israel's war crimes and genocide in Gaza has officially been launched. And I can't show the videos here because they are far too graphic, but there are tens of thousands of pieces of video evidence of Israeli war crimes in Gaza. ArchiveGenocide.com went live this week with nearly 65,000 videos, 18,000 photos, all with geolocation data and victim information to showcase Israel's war crimes in Gaza, all in one place that is easily accessible for journalists, content creators, or people just looking to gain information about the genocide in Gaza. This is a searchable database of Gaza genocide documentation with a source index spanning more than 300 journalists. It features a live map and minute-to-minute updated victim list, making this the most comprehensive archive of the Zionist genocide. The platform was built by a collective under the name Israel Exposed. This is a network of grassroots activists. They built the platform to ensure a permanent preservation of Israel's war crimes and genocide in Gaza, despite Israel's frequent telecommunication blackouts, targeting and murdering of journalists and media workers. This website, this documentation allows for long-term legal accountability. It provides the public infrastructure for prosecution of Israel's war crimes. Israel has tried so hard to bury the evidence by killing the journalists in Gaza who would document these atrocities. But they can't bury it anymore. We all have access to this. They can no longer change the narrative as we all have access to a comprehensive evidentiary dossier. If you ever get gaslit into doubting the genocide in Gaza, go to this website, Archive Genocide, and see for yourself. Remember, Israel is trying to fight a war front in your mind via false information, and they're losing because of tools like this.
And by the way, Netanyahu admitted that. He said, we're fighting a 7-front war, we need to open an 8th, or we're fighting an 8-front war, we need to open the 9th, and that's the information warfare. He says we're losing the information warfare, and now it's time to catch up on that front. But his idea of catching up on that front is to literally bully the social media outlets into pulling down all the stuff they don't like, pull down all the criticisms of Israel, pull down all the documented evidence of genocide and war crimes. That's what he means. And by the way, they've succeeded in many fronts. Donald Trump has had his MAGA billionaire Epstein-class cronies take over for a lot of these social media platforms. And the people who take over are very, very openly pro-Israel, pro-genocide, pro-billionaire, pro-MAGA, right? And this is an across-the-board effort. Why do you think Barry Weiss is running CBS and the Ellisons own it? Why do you think the Ellisons run TikTok now? Why do you think they're gaining power over CNN next? Why do you think that is? Because they are trying to set the narrative. They are trying to define the parameters of the debate. And they are trying to make sure that you never know the full truth about what happened in Gaza. And we know it because we all lived through it. But what we need to fear is, in the long run, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the long run? Are they going to successfully wipe out the memory of this stuff? Are they going to try to scrub the internet of all the documented evidence of their crimes? And that's why this is so important, is that it's an attempt to say, you cannot hide the truth. You cannot hide the truth. We're documenting the truth. You can go look at it. By the way, if you do go look at it, you will learn very quickly that Israel is a terrorist rape state. That's what it is. And I use those words very purposefully, okay? We know there's been a number of instances of Palestinian hostages being raped. And then what happened? The people who did the raping became national heroes in Israel, and there were right-to-great protests when they tried to hold them accountable for a split second, okay? That's what happened. We have the mass death law where they're trying to murder every Palestinian hostage. There's thousands of them, and some of them just threw rocks when they were children, and they still want to kill them. And they pass a law that's going to kill them. Okay? By the way, the genocide is still happening. Just now, Israel's killed so many of the journalists on the ground that we don't get as much video evidence and as many pictures coming out of there because they've already killed 250 journalists or so. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. But this website is so important because it lays the history bare. It lays the facts out there bare for you to see. And everybody needs to know this. Everybody needs to be educated, because then you can mobilize politically to say, you have to cut off the money. You have to cut off the weapons. You have to hold Israel accountable. You have to arrest the fucking war criminals who run that disgusting country. That's what you have to do. And by the way, I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm as anti-war as they come. Nobody is more anti-war than me. I have a track record of being deeply anti-war. However, if there was ever a country you can actually make an argument for the international community to come together and militarily attack them, it would be against Israel, 100%. Because they are completely and utterly unhinged. You cannot make a peace deal with them because they don't abide by it. They are liars through and through. And so what do you do with a country that is totally irrational, not good to their word, and they will not stop murdering everybody around them? Oh, I don't know. I think you defeat them. I think that's what you do. We learned this history lesson from fucking Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. That's who we learned this history lesson from. They're stealing parts of Syria. They're stealing all of Lebanon. They're taking all the West Bank. They're taking all of Gaza. I mean, they're doing another genocide in Lebanon, and virtually nobody's talking about it in Western media. That's why it's so important that you go and you look at all the documented evidence of this stuff, and you spread the word far and wide, and you do everything you can to cut off the money and cut off the weapons to Israel and arrest the fucking disgusting war criminals that run that place. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it is just out of this world what we witnessed. So shout out to the people who set this up. This is a very, very big deal. And look, the one thing that actually makes Israel panic is the war over knowledge, is the war over information.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So we're now on our roughly 58th fake anti-Zohran freakout going on. The right likes to shit their pants and scream about Zohran and act like he's totally irrational and totally insane. And of course, they make a mountain out of a molehill every time they try to go after him. Like this most recent one was, Zohran said to keep your thermostat at 78 degrees, and that's too hot during the heat wave. Yeah, okay, but the reason he's doing that is because they don't want the grid to crash. And if the grid crashes, nobody has AC, right? And not only that, it's not mandatory. It's a recommendation. But beyond that, every fucking city in every fucking state says the same shit. In fact, people pulled up instantly, here are the guidelines in the state of Florida, in the state of Texas, in this state, in that state, all the red states. They all say, oh yeah, in a massive heat wave, set your thermostat to between 75 and 78 degrees because we don't want the fucking grid to crash, okay? And they've even said it in the other direction. In the middle of a cold snap, set your heat to 65. Don't go above that because we don't want the grid to crash. So, like, everything's fake. Everything they used to go after Zohran is fake, 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 fake. They have nothing real to go after him, so they just muck up these fake scandals, and it became like, come and take it with a picture of somebody's AC. It's like, shut the fuck up, you little bitches. Jesus Christ. They have nothing to say when Trump is protecting literal Epstein pedophiles. They have nothing to say when they're carpet bombing little girls' schools in Iran. But a public servant correctly says, hey, maybe keep your AC a little higher so the grid doesn't crash, and that's a fucking scandal to you idiots? Fuck you. Well, anyway, he came out and gave a speech the other day for July 4th for the 250th birthday of this country. And I'll play a little bit of it for you here, but this led to a stage 5 freakout among the right also. Here we go.
There is a term so often used to describe our nation and those who have shaped it. American exceptionalism. American exceptionalism, the conventional wisdom tells us, makes our freedom a little more free, is how we dug the Erie Canal and irrigated the West, is why children in faraway lands grow up dreaming of one day moving here. And yet the irony is that the story of America has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional. For generation after generation, we have been told that when the world has sent its people to our shores, it has not sent its best. It sent Puritans and Sikhs and Quakers and Muslims and Jewish people who were banished for praying the wrong way, worshiping the wrong gods, angering the wrong people. It sent peasants and serfs from slums and shtetls who were treated as less because they hardly owned clothes, let alone land. It sent immigrants from whom power was something someone else had. We are told that America is exceptional because we are richer, stronger, more powerful than everyone else. The truth, my friends, is that America is exceptional because here, nothing is fixed into place. The frontier may be closed, we may have walked on the moon, but the work of fulfilling the values first enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, that work endures, and it belongs to us all. It belongs to our newest Americans, those standing here with me today, all of whom were recently naturalized. Nearly a decade ago, I too felt what you feel, the joy of no longer being just a New Yorker, but an American too. You each hold a special power, the power to determine what America means. The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal. America, if you ask them, becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin. The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit. How small they are, how weak, how unoriginal. At every moment in our past, those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another. Division is the oldest trick in politics, and the cheapest. But time and again, including 250 years ago, those forces of division have been vanquished by the forces of progress. As Thomas Paine once wrote, "This new world hath been the asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty. Hither have they fled." And yet today, too many of our leaders do not believe in a vision of this nation as an asylum for the persecuted, but rather as one that persecutes those seeking asylum.
He absolutely nailed it. He absolutely freaked it. The right lost their goddamn minds over this, and they were arguing, he hates America. If you don't love America, get the hell out of America. How dare you smear America on our 250th birthday? What is wrong with you? Meanwhile, you listen to the whole speech. He's not smearing America at all. What he's doing is going after the group of Epstein-class pedophile elites who have a horrific, atrocious view of what this country should be. They want this country to be a country club, and for 99% of the people in it to be servants for them, right? And like he said, they don't look at what it says on the Statue of Liberty and agree with it. They say, no, let's shut this bitch down. Let's not be a multicultural society. Let's not be a melting pot. Let's not be a country that gives people a chance. Let's not be diverse. They look at this and they say, no, let's have like a white nationalist fucking hellscape. Let's do that. And so it says a lot. When people went after him for smearing America, it says a lot because what they're doing is telling on themselves. They're saying we are the oligarchs. We are the Epstein-class elitists. We are the pedophile, rapist fucking freaks who run this country and are running it into the ground. Everybody who freaked out, by the way, Bill Balsackman, he was one who was going against Zohran after this speech. You're telling on yourself, bro. You're a fucking billionaire asshole who nobody likes. You're the problem with this country. Ironically, they go after immigrants and say they're the problem. Immigrants work 1,000 times harder than you, contribute way more, and make way less. So shut the fuck up, Ski. Shut up, okay? But, so the right was melting down over this speech when it was he fucking nailed it, okay? But the smart ones know. Hey man, stop fucking underestimating this guy. Sloppy Steve reacted to Mamdani's speech, quote, if you dismiss this guy, you are missing something. It's not just this guy, it's the team around him. He warned Republicans not to underestimate the movement behind him. You're going to have to use your agency. In other words, this guy represents something real. This guy is actually all about delivering universal health care and free college and a living wage and universal child care and freezing the rent. He's already delivered on like 5 of his major campaign promises. And the DSA movement around him, they are serious about governing. They are serious about power. They are serious about fixing this country. And they are actually anti-oligarch and anti-elitist, something the right has only ever pretended to be as they super serve the oligarchy and the elites. And so they can whine, cry, and bitch and moan as much as they want, but it's not working. It honestly reminds me, Zohran has a similar thing to Barack Obama, where he triggered the right into being the worst versions of themselves and then melting down over everything he does. And he seems calm, cool, and collected. And Zohran's doing the exact same thing, except Zohran is actually a democratic socialist. Obama was a centrist. They treated him like he was a communist, but he's a centrist. He's always been that, right? Zohran is an actual democratic socialist. And the more they freak out, the more powerful they make him. And that's an amazing, amazing thing to see. All right, y'all, that's the show, man. I love y'all very much. As always, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon, support the show on Patreon. That link's below. Remember, y'all, real independent media over here, so we rely on your support. Thank you so much, even if you just give $1 a month or $2 a month. You can also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack, link below, and go sub to Corin's World. I love you guys, and I'll see you shortly. Have a good one. Peace.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So what did I tell you guys when we talked about PLATNER yesterday? I said, if you're a MAGA Republican or if you're a diet MAGA Democrat, you need to shut the fuck up. That's what I said. And there's a reason why I said that. So let me show you here what Kevin McCarthy said in response to the PLATNER scandal. Get a load of this.
The one thing I know about Republicans, when we had a very bad candidate and found out, we didn't vote for that person. Right. We walked away.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. When Matt Gaetz came forward, we got rid of him.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy.
This is quite literally beyond parody. Quote, One thing I know about Republicans is when we had a very bad candidate, we didn't vote for that person. We walked away. The president is Donald J. Trump. He's in the Epstein files over 1 million times. Read the Katie Johnson allegations from when she was 13 years old, what she said Trump and Epstein did to her. Trump's ex-wife accused him of grape. Okay? There's a literal Wikipedia page with nearly 30 entries of all the different sexual assault, sexual harassment, and grape allegations against Donald J. Trump. Spare me your sanctimonious horse shit. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Not to mention, Trump's not the only one. As somebody pointed out on social media, there's a Republican by the name of Corey Mills. He beat the shit out of his girlfriend, who he was cheating on because he has a wife, while he was simultaneously threatening another girlfriend with revenge porn, and he's still a sitting member of the House and running for re-election. But guess what? Since that guy 100% supports Israel, it's not a big deal. And you guys all fall in line, and you guys support him. Because Republicans get to play by a different set of rules, different standards. You guys have no standards for yourself, and the strictest standards ever for Democrats. But we're not done yet, because we also have a guy by the name of Scott Jennings, a Republican hack on CNN. He commented as well. Take a look.
What I disagree with is when she said that he hadn't been vetted. No, he had been vetted. All of the things that have been stated, it was all out in the public. And people like Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Tim Walz, the Bulwark, Pod Save America, all these people came together to overlook it all, to explain it all, to rationalize it all. He was vetted. People knew all these things. And a whole bunch of Democrats in Maine showed up and voted for him anyway. And a bunch of donors from around the country sent him money anyway. I agree with Alyssa's question. What changed? Why are you bailing on Graham Plattner now? You already signed off on Nazi tattoo, a self-described communist, somebody who's had rape fantasies, somebody who has been on a social media platform known as a playground for predators, and on and on and on and on and on. And the difference between this accuser and the previous one is simply this. She's a liberal. It's okay, I guess, for Democrats that their candidates assault conservatives. But he broke into someone's house and apparently, according to her, raped her. And because her politics are correct, they can now believe it. All of this whole thing is disgusting. But to say that they hadn't vetted him or that they didn't know about all this is totally false. They knew it and they signed up for it. And I don't know why they're backing away from this scumbag today when they had already signed off on all that other crazy behavior.
Let me explain it very simply so even he can understand it. The issue is, you idiots lie about everything. All of a sudden, we have to have baby brains when there's accusations coming from literal Republican operative insider hacks. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. And if the roles were reversed, you would immediately swat aside the allegations if it was some Democratic woman accusing a Republican man. But actually, you know what? It's even worse than that, because you would swat aside any allegations, because like I said, you support the rapist, pedophile Donald J. Trump. Spare me, again, with this sanctimonious garbage, this fake moral, finger-wagging BS. Like, it's not working. It's not landing for anybody. Like I said, you can shut the fuck up, go sit in the corner in the peanut gallery and wear the dunce hat and let the adults have the conversation here when it comes to Graham Plattner. But I'm not done yet because, like I said, MAGA is chirping, even though they have zero authority to chirp on this issue because they support people obnoxiously worse than Graham Plattner. But also Diet MAGA weighed in. Look at what Fetterman said.
People that dismissed the women, you know, that he abused in the New York Times thing, you know, and all the people that sent Plattner checks or cashed checks from Plattner, you know, maybe look in the mirror, the kind of person that you were pushing. And now that put the Senate, you know, the majority path in serious risk. We all, you know, any normal person could have seen what was coming, the kind of person it is. Now, he was the one Democrat that refused to not just call him out what he is.
So he went on to call out Bernie Sanders directly. And he also was saying, look, if you're the type of person who donated to Plattner and supported Plattner, look in the mirror because there's something wrong with you. Here's what I would say in response to that. The number one thing that you're known for, John Fetterman, is supporting a genocide. The number one thing you're known for is cheerleading as Israel shoots toddlers in the face, as Israel starves an entire population of people, millions of people. Well, it was millions of people. Now it's less than that because they've killed so many of them. The number one thing you're known for is supporting a country that has systematic grape of hostages who they're now about to kill, all of them, by the way. That's the number one thing you're known for, is being a cheerleader for an apartheid terror grape state, okay? So, again, you need to hop on a short bus to shut the fuck upsville, because nobody's interested in what the fuck you have to say about this. God, it's so frustrating. Watching all these total fucking hypocrite, hack losers pretend all of a sudden like they're moral and they have standards. No, you only have standards when it's the people you don't like, okay? When you like the people, Donald Trump gets a pass on 78,000 things, Netanyahu gets a pass on 78,000 things, standard Republicans get passes on 78,000 things. So do me a favor and shut the fuck up. Obviously, the appeal of Graham Plattner and the reason why he had so much support, a tremendous amount of support, is because he was sparking a revolution where he was focusing on Medicare for all and a living wage and unions for everybody and ending the war in Iran and ending the endless support for the terror grape state of Israel. This is why. Now, you guys can pretend like it's something else, like, oh, maybe the Democrats actually liked it that he was accused of all these things. No, but the reality is, I think you guys kind of like it that the people you support are accused of all these heinous things. So again, shut the fuck up, and you're only allowed to comment on this issue if you're a liberal, a leftist, or a Democrat, and you're not diet MAGA or outright MAGA. That's my standard for this.